With its majestic rings, Saturn is the sixth planet from our Sun and the farthest planet that we can see from Earth with the naked eye. With the possible exception of Mars, Saturn is also the planet that has the strangest and most bizarre conspiracy theories as to its true identity or purpose. These are often intertwined with long-forgotten ancient knowledge and recently discovered natural phenomena. Saturn holds a lofty position in terms of apparent importance in ancient times. As an increasing number of space probes make their way past the huge cosmic body in our own era, both its beauty and its mysteries deepen. So does the craziness of the conspiracies aligned with it. Number 10. The Megahex of Saturn. When the Voyager missions flew over Saturn in the 1980s, they revealed a bizarre hexagon shape at the polar regions of the planet. Furthermore, this structure appeared to be artificial due to its precise measurements and the perfect straightness of its frame. The pictures, and the theories that came along with them, were shelved for the better part of 2 decades until the Cassini craft made its own approach in summer 2004. This time, the pictures were clearer and of finer quality. However, they didn't offer any real explanation as to what the megahex was. Or more to the point, the pictures didn't provide a reasonable alternative to people who simply did not buy the cloud pattern formation explanation offered by NASA. Some people insist that the structure is evidence of intelligent design, most likely from the very distant past. Theories include a monitoring device or even some kind of cosmic filling station. Hydrogen and helium-3 are both present on Saturn and can be used for space travel. Number 9. Naturally occurring radio waves. When NASA recorded radio waves that are inaudible to the human ear, they soon realized that the sounds were emanating from inside Saturn's atmosphere, essentially from the planet itself. NASA converted the sounds to our hearing range and released them online. The agency claimed that the radio waves were naturally occurring, although an exact reason or detail behind them is not known. One enthusiastic listener and digital audio expert, Joost van Dyke, altered the pitch of the recordings. When listening again, he believed that he identified definite patterns within the radio waves. In other words, these waves were not naturally occurring but intentional communication. Many theories and translations soon swamped social media as to what the supposed alien message was actually saying. One offering read, "You people are urged to drop the earthly impulse. Make of that what you will." Number 8. It used to be a sun. Many ancient writings appear to refer to Saturn as if it were a sun. For example, ancient Babylonian texts describe Saturn as the ghost of a sun. The Maya stated that the sun we see today was not the same sun as in the first times. In the book Saturn, the ancient sun god, author David Chalbot notes the apparent confusion between Saturn and the sun in ancient times and how it may not have been confusion after all. Chalbot argues that numerous figures throughout history have specifically distinguished it from our sun by calling it the best sun, the primeval sun, the central sun. According to some conspiracy theories, Saturn is strongly connected to the elite, secret societies that supposedly worship the sun or sun god. If Saturn was indeed a star and our central sun in antiquity, then the importance of Saturn to the secret societies and their esoteric rituals is perhaps more explainable. Number 7. Immanuel Velikovsky's double star theory. When he released the book Worlds in Collision in 1950, Immanuel Velikovsky enraged mainstream scientists, historians, and academics with his theories and general alternative take on world history. His work was almost universally rejected. But as the decades have gone by, many of his theories, if only in part, have been proven correct. Perhaps a good example was his predictions of how hot Venus actually is, something for which he was ridiculed at the time. However, he was proven to be completely correct as probes landed and technology improved years later. Among other things, Velikovsky also stated that the outer planets, such as Saturn and Jupiter, had the capability to produce their own heat rather than rely on heat from the sun. Not only has this been proven correct, but it also lends itself, if only slightly, to the theory that Saturn may have once been a star. Velikovsky believed so, and what's more, he stated that it was likely that both Jupiter and Saturn were part of a double star system. Due to Saturn's prominence in the ancient world, Velikovsky argued that Saturn was probably closer to Earth and much larger than Jupiter back then. In fact, this assertion that Saturn and Jupiter were once a double star system leads us nicely to our next wacky theory about the ring planet. Number 6. Saturn caused the flood. Whether the flood actually occurred is very much open to debate for some. According to Velikovsky's research, not only did it likely happen, but Saturn and its gigantic cosmic neighbor, Jupiter, are to blame for it. Writing in the aforementioned Worlds in Collision, Velikovsky argued that Saturn and Jupiter drifted extremely close to each other while on orbital paths very different from their current ones. He further theorized, suppose that two bodies, such as Jupiter and Saturn, were to approach one another rather closely, so as to cause violent perturbations and huge tidal effects in each other's atmospheres. As a double star, or binary, they might interact to the extent that, under certain conditions, the interaction of the members of such a pair will lead to a stellar explosion. Velikovsky suggested that this event realigned the planets to somewhere near their current positions and created a chain of events that resulted in mass flooding on Earth. Looking from the ancient astronaut perspective, if we accept the possibility that Velikovsky may be right, this claim would tie in with the notion that the Anunnaki would have been aware of the movements of the planets. So they would have had prior warning of the consequences on Earth. Number 5. It's actually Nibiru. It seems like there are claims that a secret planet, sometimes referred to as Planet X, is about to show up in our skies any day now. Of course, it has yet to put in an appearance and make good on the age-old prophecy of its return. But there is some train of thought that suggests Nibiru might actually be better known to us as Saturn. Nibiru is said to have a winged appearance in the sky. In his book series, The Earth Chronicles, Zaccharia Sitchin argues that this was caused by oxide clouds caught in the atmosphere of the planet. They created a winged appearance as Saturn moved in its orbit. However, might it be that these wings are actually the rings of Saturn? Is it possible that some people, particularly those who are not aware of such things, might mistake rings for wings? Number 4. Intense electrical activity in Saturn's rings. When Voyager 2 flew over Saturn and, more specifically, one of its major rings, it began to pick up a steady pop sound which was discovered to be pulsating bursts of energy. Further investigation described them as crackling, lightning-like discharges of electricity. According to Dr. Joseph Romig, a member of the Voyager astronomy team, these charges were 10,000 times stronger than the lightning experienced here on Earth. The energy in each burst was anywhere from 100 to 1000 megawatts, which is 3 times larger than the typical output of a standard electricity plant at its highest. Although no explanation could be offered for the strange phenomenon, Romig claimed that the electrical charges could be due to interactions with surrounding dust particles. Decades later, in 2016, a controversial conspiracy author offered another, more off-the-wall explanation. Number 3. It's a broadcasting system. Researcher and author David Icke is no stranger to controversy or outlandish claims. His take on Saturn delivers both in huge servings with extras to follow. According to Icke, Saturn is actually a huge broadcasting system which sends electrical waves to Earth and so creates the matrix in which we all live. Our moon operates as a projector of sorts, intensifying these signals and then broadcasting them to the Earth's atmosphere. As you might imagine, mainstream scientists and astronomers have rejected Icke's assertions in their entirety. Icke looks at many naturally occurring phenomena and puts his own take on them, not least of which is the apparently huge amounts of electrical activity and radio waves hurtling out of Saturn. He also argues that the elite here on Earth know the importance of the ringed planet as well as its true history. Number 2. The many Saturn symbols on Earth. Whether it is coincidence or not, several prominent logos from well-known corporations around the world, themselves owned by so-called elite families, appear to be a tip of the hat to the ringed planet. At least that is what many conspiracy theorists, such as David Icke, will tell you. For example, the E on the logo for Internet Explorer appears to have a ring around it much like the ring of Saturn. So do the logos for Boeing and Toyota. Even the Nike logo has been singled out as being a part of the ring of Saturn. Another example might be Axis Media Group, whose logo contains a sphere with 2 rings around it. The giving and swapping of wedding rings is also claimed by some to have been a way of paying one's honor to Saturn in ancient times. So what is the reason for all these Saturn-like tributes and even worship of the ringed planet today? According to one theory, it is the same as it has always been throughout history, worship and dealings in the occult. Number 1. The Black Cube Conspiracy and Links to Occultism. According to some conspiracy theorists, Saturn is linked to occult rituals and beliefs. Even the names Satan and Saturn, they argue, are practically the same. In ancient times, the deity El was also symbolized and referred to as Saturn. This last part leads to the next segment of this theory, the worshipping of the Black Cube, which is said to be another symbol of Saturn, Satan, El, or both. The theory suggests that this knowledge and belief system has been handed down over the centuries through secret society networks, the same ones that control religion, business, and politics in the modern world. Conspiracy theorists argue that this explains why the black cube symbol can be found outside many buildings owned by the elites of the world. They argue that these symbols are not merely for decoration, but are a secret declaration of sorts, hidden in plain sight. Going back to the mega-hex that we mentioned earlier, the theory further states that the black cube is also a representation of the dimensions of the cosmic anomaly. Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below to grow our community, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.